Hi, everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Ondas, and we are going to make a really easy fun fold using designer series paper. And it's a fold that you can make in 10 minutes or less. So I hope you're looking forward to an easy one. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm happy you found me. I hope you'll like what you see. And if you're here with me live or you catch me with the replay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with me. So I'm going to flip this camera over and we're going to get started. Okay, I am going to show you the card we are going to make. And this is a card that gives you a sneak peek at a new bundle that's coming out January 6th with the new, I can't remember if it's in the mini catalog or if it's a new online exclusive. Whichever, it's really pretty. So this stamp set and dies are called Delightful Wishes. And it is a two-step stamp set. We're going to be doing a lot with it later, but I wanted to give you a peek at the paper and the stamps. So this card is made with designer series paper, and it's also a pocket card so that you can take your little card out, write your sentiment or stamp a sentiment, write your note or stamp a sentiment and slide it back in. So let me show you how easy this is to make. So we're going to be using the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper, a piece of this, and this is 5 1/4 by 12. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in my scoring tool, and if you're using paper that has a pattern, directional pattern, you need to be careful. I tend to choose papers that don't have a directional pattern because when you fold it up, if you have a directional pattern, this side's going to be upside down. And I also look for papers that I think will look pretty on both sides. And this one I think is going to look fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to score both ends at 4. Now remember, when you're scoring designer series paper, you do not score as hard or heavy-handed as you would if you were using cardstock to score on. It's easy to score too hard and rip that paper. All right, so that's good. All right, now I'm going to leave this close by because we are going to be using it just for a second more. But I'm going to go ahead, and this is my inside, and I'm folding with the hill. So I'm going to fold on here, and I'm going to burnish it. And then I'm going to take this one and fold and burnish it. All right. Now, to make my pocket, I want to cut the bottom portion. Remember, this is my bottom now. From the top left corner to the right fold. So let's go ahead and do that. So to do that, I'm going to bring this in, and you're going to line up this corner in the track of your cutting, for your cutting blade. Let me bring that up a little higher. And then the fold mark right here is also going to line up with that track. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get the scoring blade out of here, and now we're just going to cut. And you do have a scrap piece of paper you can use for something else. All right, so this is pretty much our card base. So we're going to mount this on a piece of blueberry bushel. Now this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And these, when they're folded, are 4, and this is 5 1/4 that we cut. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 things. First, we want to adhere this triangle down to make our pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some tape runner rather than glue today. And I'm just going to run a little bit right along the edge here. So let's run that along here. Right there. And then I purposely went off the edge, and all I do is fold this over. I don't want it to go in too far. So I just wanted to get maybe about 1/4 of an inch, and then I just fold this over. And you may be much neater with the tape than I am. I'm kind of like with the tape like I am with glue. So then you're going to line up these edges so the point comes right below the fold and your edges line up, and you're just going to give it a good press. And you now have your pocket. Now we're ready to adhere this to our blueberry bushel. So I'm going to close this up, and I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal Plus along the back edges of my designer series paper. And then we're going to come in here and just adhere it so that we have a nice edge, or a pretty even edge, all the way around. And I didn't want that to stick down quite yet. So I'm going to start at one side. And then I'm just going to work my way over. That looks pretty good. So here's our card base with our designer series paper. Now, what do we want to do for the inside? For the inside, I use some shaded spruce. Now, this is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4, and we're going to use a piece of basic white that's 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. So, because I'm making a thank you card, I'm not going to add a greeting to this, but I am going to add a strip of matching designer series paper, because this is solid. So I thought it would be pretty to add this and kind of pull that all together. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to go right on the edge of our basic white. So if you are new to my channel, I hope you'll like what you see. And if you do, please hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified then when I go live or when I post a new video. So that you'll be up to date with what I'm doing. So let's add this. Okay, to here. And I think the shaded spruce, I really wanted to pick out the dark green that you see in this paper, which is really these extra evergreen leaves or evergreens. So here's the inside. Now let's do our outside. Now for the outside, I'm keeping this really, really simple. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting, and I'm using a greeting from the So Sincere stamp set, So Thankful for You. And I'm going to keep my colors just the blueberry bushel and shaded spruce. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my greeting, and I am going to bring in my piercing mat. Oh, I don't need it. This is a rubber stamp. I'll need it for the leaves. So, if you're new to stamping, if you have the red rubber backing, you do not need a softer surface or a piercing mat. Let me go ahead and stamp this right here. All right, and I wanted that to be down a little bit. Now I'm using the iconic imagery, and all I'm using from here are these green leaves. And I'm going to stamp those in shaded spruce. Now, this is a two-step stamp. You could use it individually if you wanted to, but I actually am going to stamp two. And I am going to put a little piece of scrap paper under there because one of those leaves is going to get stamped off. So with the two-step stamp, I typically like to stamp with the more distinctive stamp rather than the filler first. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to stamp this down. Okay, then I'm going to come over here and I am going to flip this a little bit. And this one's going to be stamped off, but I'm going to bring those two stems together. All right. Now I have the solid stamp, or what I call the filler. And I'm going to stamp these right inside. I'm hoping I am. And I'm going to try really hard not to get my head in the camera. So I want to get these stamped nice and clear. There we go. And now I'm going to flip it around and do the same. So I'm going to turn this a little bit because it's just a little bit easier angle for me, and try to line these up. And pretty good. Off just a little bit, but we're going to go with it. Now, I wanted my sentiment to stand out a little bit, because just to put it on here, I kind of felt it got lost. So I cut a second one, and these are the, Countryside Corners dies. So I cut one in the blueberry bushel, and what I'm going to do is just trim off a little bit of this so that we have about a third of it, or a little bit more. And I'm going to do that to the other side. Do the same thing. And for those of you, you may already know what I'm going to do with this. And now we're done with that. So I want to adhere this so that I have a little bit of color to kind of make this bolder and stand out. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue right along the edges at the top and the side. And we're just going to add that right like that. And now we're going to do the same for the bottom. So let's add some of this here. And I'm going to flip that down so that I can see my edging, and just kind of line those up so they're pretty even like the top. And that looks pretty good. All right, so here is our greeting, and we're going to pop that on. And then I have a kind of a tip for you. We're going to add some gems. So I'm using dimensionals here. And I'm just going to go ahead and add, I tend to use a lot because I want this to hold up in the mail, because it goes through the machine, and I don't want it to kind of get smashed down. So let's take these off here, and we're going to put these on. Okay, so let's do this right about there. All right, now I want to add some berries, and I didn't have any blueberry bushel. So I'm going to show you what I did. I took the cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries because I wanted one of these triple berry embellishments. And I colored it with my blends. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that if you've not done that before. And the tip to get good color is to color it. And you're using, don't press hard. I'm using my brush part. And then give it a second or two to dry before you go back over it and add color. If you don't, I find it picks up some of the color. And this dries really quick because it's alcohol. And now I'm going to go back over it, and hopefully you can see. I'll pick this up. The color is deepening. And I'm going to let that dry. So let me pick that up for you so you can see it. Now you can do this with the pearls. You can do it with the iridescent gems. So really easy to make some of your own embellishments in the color that you may want them to be that you may not have on hand. So let me pick this up, and we're going to add this berry right here. Okay, now I'm going to leave it with that one, but you certainly could color single ones and add more. I am going to add, thought it'd be fun to maybe add a bow. And then that's how easy this card is to do. It really does show off your designer series paper, and it is quick and easy. When you're not demonstrating and explaining things, you can knock this card out in less than 10 minutes. So let me add this, and we'll bring our other card back in. And maybe we'll just add this right here. Now you could take a piece of paper and add it to the flap of your envelope, which I have not done yet. And you have a beautiful piece of stationery. So maybe let's add this right here and then trim down that little tail. Okay, so here's your card. Now you could even add a gift card to this if you wanted to. So let me bring the other card back in. So really fun cards and quick and easy. Let me bring it back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's Easy Fun Fold tutorial. This is one I love to do, especially if I need to make several, and just easy to get done. I hope you'll give it a try. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share the video. I will be back with you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock for our 11th week of the 12 weeks of Christmas. So I hope you have a great evening. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you tomorrow at 2.